One of the things that I like to do is to buy large parent sheets of watercolor paper. You can get this at any of the arts and crafts stores, but I like the torn edge. You see how you get this tattered edge by tearing, and this to me is much more interesting than a straight edge. So what I do is I'll take a big sheet and I'll tear it down into strips like this. And then you can fold these pieces into smaller pieces. If, say, I'm going to make a small journal, I can take this piece, I can fold this in half. And you can use a ruler, you know, if you're unsteady and you're not sure if this is going to tear properly for you. But, you know, I like that torn edge, so I'm not afraid to just put my finger down and start the tear, because I like that torn edge. And if it goes off a little bit, that's okay. I'm good with that. And this is really heavy. This is like 300 and something. This is 300-pound watercolor paper. So this is really heavy duty. This would be a lot easier with a thinner paper than this. So now I've got two pieces. This one measures about 12 inches. So if I do this at 6, if I fold this in half at 6, and I want to tear that down, let's get a bone folder here. That would make it life easier, or something to fold that with. A very dirty bone folder. Don't let your bone folders look like this. But I can get a nice crease with a bone folder, and then I can begin my tear. Like so. And this can fold here. And I can start my signatures, or my signature, however you want to say that. Put this in here, fold this one over. Got one more piece of this. My fingers are not real strong either. If you have stronger fingers, you do better than what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, and these are tools. These are bookbinding tools that I use in my work. So there's that, and there's this. And then if we wanted to make a book for this, we can. And I have leather because I went down to Tandy's outlet and I picked up a hide to use. This is a book my friend Vicki did for me. She does all kinds of little books like this, and I think you're going to, I think it was Vicki did this one. Looks like her work. She didn't sign it. Okay, I'll have to ask her. Vicki, is this you? I think it is. This is another book that I made, a handmade book that I made. And on here, this is a leather spine that I did on this one. And then this is paper covering. But you can see how many different sizes and shapes you can do, and see where I've stitched this into the binding here. And then what I'm working on here is a piece of leather, but here's some bookbinding tools you may need and want. These are binder needles. These are wax for your thread. If you don't have waxed linen thread, you can wax your own thread. These are waxed linens from Belfast. I like these because they're very strong, very sturdy. You know, if you're doing a larger book, you're going to want something like this. You don't necessarily have to use anything that heavy duty, but I like it. And then this is from colorways.com, and this is so that you can cut your corners off of your paper. And I'll be talking about those things again later too. But right now, I'm just going to grab a cheap X-Acto knife. And this one I'm squaring up. You can see I've got it here and here. This looks pretty square. This is cut at about, let's see. This is cut at about 9.5 inches. That would give me a 1/2 inch on each end if I was doing, let's see. Here's a regular, grab a piece of paper here. Whoops, and I knocked my shelf off. Okay, here's a regular piece of copy paper, 8.5 by 11. If you fold this in half, and I want to make a book this size out of just my 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, then this is going to be too big. Okay, I only want about that much reveal around it. So I'm going to want to cut this piece of leather down to accommodate this for my booklet. So I think I want to leave maybe 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more. So I'm going to come over here with my ruler. This is a, what do they call this? This is a quilter's ruler. And I'm just going to line this up. Looks like I want to line it up right at about 9 inches. That would be your 8.5. Now this is slipped. So I need to get my piece of leather back on here square. So that's square. And then I want to line this up at that 9 inch mark right here. So now I've got everything lined up. I can just do my cut, and I can very easily cut through this leather. You can save this extra piece if you want to use this as a belly band to wrap around. You know, this would make a good belly band. So your regular journal like this also fits this quite well. So this is what they call traveler's journal. So for a traveler's journal, if I want to use several of these in a book and stack them up in here, I'm just going to take my piece of leather that we just cut, going to get it lined up on the square lines, and then this is going to go in the middle of my leather like this. I want this to wrap around and come just over the edge of those like so. That's a nice fit there. And then I want this to wrap back this way. So this is a little bit longish. I think I want to take about 3 inches off of this. I still could add more inside of here, even if I take this back to the 3 inch mark. So let me cut that down. So let's get this over here where you guys can see it. Line up this edge. Yeah, line up this edge. There we go. And then I want to take this down 1, 2, 3 inches. So come back here, 1, 2, 3. That'll put me right here. Got too much stuff on my desk. Oh. Then I moved everything again. All right, line it up again. Happy with that. Lined up. Get this in place. I'm going to cut this piece off. And these smaller pieces you can die cut and use for embellishments too. Oh, I fudged. All right, let's try this again. Gonna come back this direction. Cut that corner, because sometimes you get these little nubbins here. If you don't, so let me try and cut this again. Okay, that's loose there. Okay, there's our piece. But what did I do with those other pieces? I had some that were punched or die cut out. Probably got them on the floor now because I've been pushing everything off.